Hello, family, fam. Welcome back.
Welcome back, everyone. My name's Nicodemus.
And I'm Francesca, and you guys are here with the Saucy Sibz.
Yeah, the SAUCY SIBZ podcast where we talk about nothing important.
Except for our lives.
Except everything to do with us.
You guys, we just spent 17 minutes arranging the gourds. If no one's watching, you know the little baby pumpkins and the little gourds that you get during fall?
Like tiny little guys.
I just brought home a bunch. So they're all over, but I really wanted to showcase them on the video on the podcast. But then we just were kept moving them around.
On set, I like a lot of things. I enjoy knickknacks, but
wow, a knick-knack?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. But sometimes it's messy and it's cluttered.
This is messy.
But sometimes I don't give a shit. And I'm
I don't.
Look at all my
care.
little belongings. Look at all my little knickknacks, But I feel like it doesn't translate too well to film and definitely not on a podcast because you're not seeing it. Because all of you are blind.
Just think of us surrounded by candles. We just made some hot tea. Made little apple cider shots.
Mm-hmm, which we'll get to. But gourds. We wanted to tell you something about gourds. So our mom has this joke that has been going on probably for about 10 years right now.
Longer.
Okay. Where she buys all these tiny gourds and then,
obsessed. It's every time she
30.
goes 50.
Yeah. She just picks up new gourds, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And but anyway, so she'll buy these gourds and there's the phrase hey, are you out of your gourd?
Out of your mind.
Yeah, that's what it means. It's an older phrase. But anyway, my mom, you'll just be in her kitchen and she'll pick up a gourd and be like, hey, are you out of your gourd? Get back in there.
Get back in there.
Or sometimes you'll be in mid-sentence and she'll just hold up a gourd and look at you with big eyes and be like, and I'll be like, fuck. What are you doing?
No, it's her thing.
She'll whip it out of her pocket with a tiny pumpkin and be like,
get back in there.
Get back in there. But it's been going on in our lives for so long that I actually heard someone, I don't know if I was watching TV or I just overheard someone say it, but they were like, are you out of your gourd? And I literally started dying laughing because I don't think I'd ever heard anyone say that for real.
I thought it was our family thing. I just had to Google it.
That's a real
Nick was like, no,
phrase.
It's a real phrase. And I was like, I thought it's you're out of your mind. But our mom just says out of your gourd because she's out of her gourd.
Yeah. No, it's I think it's so old though. I don't know.
It's a real thing. Anyway, so we got gourds, we got pumpkins.
Mm.
One of them I touched and it went to mush in my hand and I screamed and I had a meltdown.
Because Francesca hates mold. But, usually though, these tiny gourds last a really long time.
No, I know.
Months and months.
Yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure I accidentally stole these from Whole Foods.
What do you mean?
So I asked the checkout guy for I was like, do you know the code for the gourds? And they were he was and I think he must have given me the code for butternut squash
Okay.
because
It was...
I typed in the code and then all of these little gourds came up as $1.19.
I feel like $1.19 for a tiny pumpkin isn't
it's
that.
Whole Foods.
It is
They're
Whole
probably
Foods.
$8 a piece.
$8 on sale,
Yeah, no, that's how they get you.
Yeah.
Oh, you want
A little tiny pumpkin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's fall. You think you want a little pumpkin? They put them up and you're like, oh, and then it's $45.
You're not going to make rent, Mitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always interject into people's conversations because I have no boundaries in public.
Yeah.
And this girl was to her boyfriend, she was like, I just really try not to come here. And I go, oh, you mean Whole Foods? She goes, yeah, because it's too expensive. And I go, no, it's down the street. They know my name here. And I'm never going to financially recover from this year.
You go to Whole Foods every day.
Every single day.
It's kind of annoying. I feel like that's why.
Our house is littered with bags from Whole Foods. Never
Whole Foods
once
bags.
have I brought back my reusable bags.
No. You should, though. I mean, you live down the street.
I've tried never once.
Yeah. And it's people are like, oh, just keep them in your car. I'm like, yeah, but when you bring the bags inside, they're no longer in your car.
Also, they charge 25 cents a bag here in Colorado. And every time they're like, wow, you really should bring your, it's 25 cents now. You really should bring your bag. And I'm like, it's never going to happen. So yes, I would like to purchase one. And yes, I would like you to double bag it. And it's okay if you double charge me.
Yeah. I mean, hey.
So I'm spending $2 on bags a day, but it's fine.
You don't give a fuck. Bags are just your thing.
just a bag lady. All right, Nick, who's our sponsor? And what did we concoct?
So, our sponsor this episode is the Shot Caller, which was the same sponsor last
They're the
episode.
month-long sponsor.
Yeah. But anyway, we made some apple cider shots to pour into the little cups. You want to take it away, Francesca?
Yeah. All right. So the Shot Caller is our parents' invention. It is a one-handed multiple shot dispenser. And we're going to share a secret little recipe with you. It's literally Tito's and apple cider to go with our fall vibes. I wish we had little cinnamon sticks.
Like a half. You could cut them in half and just put them in there from Whole Foods.
Yes.
Mini cinnamon sticks, $25.
So we literally just put it in the shot collar. I wanted to keep it cold, so I put ice in there. And then we're gonna have Nick zoom in on this. But when you flip it upside down, no leakage, nothing. When you push it down, it fills. When you lift it up, it stops. So you can pour and fill like a bunch of shots in a row. I should have put a bunch over here. But yeah, guys, shot collar. That's what she does. Use the code SAUCY20 at shotcollerusa.com for 20% off your own shot collar. They make unreal gifts. Also, we are going to start making some videos for some fall and Thanksgiving themed Jell-O shots and regular shots and put them up on the YouTube channel, and you'll be able to use their code. So, Nick, let's take our little
shotty boys.
Ciders.
Woo!
It's so good.
Wow.
No, I want another one.
Oh, you want another?
Yeah, I want another one.
I'll zoom it again. Boop.
It's just so little. And I like hardly put any Tito's in here.
Amazing. I know. I was like, Francesca, don't put too much Tito's in that. Because her and I have a tendency. It's actually more than a tendency. It's like a muscle memory to just hard pour, like over pour everything that we do.
I have a heavy hand.
Me too. We have the heaviest. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, cheers.
So cheers. So these really aren't that strong, but per my request. Yeah, that's so good. Can I tell you guys a funny story about apple cider? What?
No, just like, of course, you have like a story about apple cider. Please tell us.
I was at a music festival and it was so fucking cold. It was like cold and rainy. And the sun was setting, and it was just like not a fun sunset. Like it was kind of like, oh fuck, like this night is gonna be cold. Buckle up. I'm by myself, and I'm kind of just like meandering around, and then I see this like hot cider tent, and I was like, oh wow. And then so I like, and the people working the hot cider tent were just total wooks, like dreadlocks, like missing, a front tooth here and there. Like it was like a lot. But anyway, one girl was just like, she had like those tooth jewels where they have jewels on the, I don't know. Kind of looks, they're a little piratey, a little gypsy, and not in the good way.
Yeah.
Because there's good pirate and bad pirate.
The only girl that I saw pull it off once, it was in Paris.
Oh, wow.
And she was my food blogger friend's friend.
Yeah.
And she was this gorgeous, tiny little blonde girl. And it was just like, and I was like, oh, I love your little jewel. She goes, it's nice, right? And I was like, God damn it. Parisian girls.
I
was like, she wins, but she's the only one.
Not to like be like that, but the moment you said girl in Paris, I was already like, all right, yeah, she fucks,
Yeah, no, she didn't speak English. So like me and my friend and her had lunch together. Then, which by the way, she like scraped everything off her pizza and just ate the bread. And she had an entire blog just dedicated to bread. Passion du bon.
Passion du bon. Bon means bread, right?
Yeah. Okay. So like bread passion.
Bread passion.
was like her Instagram, but it was just different types of bread all over France.
Well,
but she didn't speak English. So when we had lunch together, my friend had to like translate for us. So we kind of just like sat there and like smiled at each other. And then like,
with a tooth jewel.
Yeah. It was just like funny. And I was like, God, she's so chic. And she's like too good to even be able to speak to me.
I know, right? She gets on fine without English. No, but anyway, yeah. So it's super cold. These like pirate girls basically like, start talking to me and they start pouring me hot cider and they're just being so friendly to me. But it was almost like, you could tell they were like kind of drugged out because they were like, yeah, oh my God. Like,
was there a love spell in the cider?
It was kind of like that, and they're just really just being so lovely, like total fairies.
Who's the pirate lady from Pirates of the Caribbean that gives Jack Sparrow the dirt?
Calypso.
Yes.
Calypso,
was it like that?
Right? Yeah, it was kind of like that. Or the girl who then becomes Calypso. Yeah, it was kind of like that, like creepy, but like really nice and friendly, and just had this draw to them. And so they were like, you can just have it for free. I was like, oh, really? Like, and I still tipped them. And then she looks at me and she was like, do you want brandy? And I was like, oh, and she just kind of like pulls out a flask out of her like leather dress or something. Yeah. And just like pours the brandy into it. She's like, there you go. And it was my warm little brandy hot cider drink that I just walked around, and everyone was like, wow, oh my God, a hot cider drink? That looks amazing. I was like, it was. A fairy wook gave it to me.
And they're like, where'd you get it from? And you turn it. You're like, yeah, from that stand over there. And it's gone.
It's just gone.
You're like,
or it's just floating away. It's a hot air balloon. And they're just like,
it's like the black pearl just disappearing into the distance.
Into the sunset. Like,
and you're like, I could have sworn. They're like, man, how many drugs is this man on?
Yeah. Anyway, that's my hot cider story. Every time I think of hot cider, I think of like that, like pirate woman, you know?
That's such like a fun little memory.
I know, yeah. Because it was like just the perfect warming, hit the spot drink.
But you know what I bring to music festivals? Do you know this about me? Every music festival, I bring a backpack of
Gushers?
Yes.
Okay.
Gushers and fruit by the foot.
Yeah,
okay, so you go to Costco.
Foot.
So, man, this is a drug podcast this week.
Well, we wrote a whole podcast, but
we're not going to stick to it. Now we're talking about pirate fairies and brandy and cider.
Pirate brandy.
Here, cheers.
Okay.
I poured another one.
All right.
Then that shot collar just makes it too easy. Okay. That was in honor of those girls.
Yeah. Pirate looks.
Now I'm doing like
the 3 finger.
The 3 finger thing that she does on fucking, what's that called?
Hunger Games.
Yes.
Games. Yeah.
I'm going to do another one.
Okay. You're really.
Okay. Cheers.
Francesca does this thing where she goes out. Hold up. Okay, yeah, we've taken 4 shots already, but they're really like not even. It's probably 1 shot.
You
total.
just told the people we have a heavy hand.
I know, but I said it was like this one's not too heavy, like because I said don't make it too strong. But yeah, it's only like 1 shot. But anyway, Francesca does this thing where she'll like go out and then have to do something in the morning and then be completely miserable in the morning and be like, "What the fuck was that?" And I was like, "I told you not to do that." It's like a.
But I'll talk the whole night that I'm out about how I have to be up. So.
Yeah. And I'm like, all right.
I'm always like, well, I have to be up at 8. And like, this is crazy. I'm going to do it anyway. And like, I'll be
I
talk
fine.
about it
She's never fine. Fine.
Nick's like, when I left the house yesterday, he was like, the narrator was like, and she wasn't fine.
Yeah. Like, it was literally like that. You left the house. And I was like, she's going to cry in the morning. But
I did.
I know. I'm not kidding. You were like, oh, but yeah.
What story was I telling? Oh, okay. So every festival I go to Costco, aka use my dad's Costco card. And I get a giant box of Gushers or fruit by the foot. So here's the thing. When people are at festivals, they are on a lot of drugs. So they're not eating.
Yeah.
So they might not want like a warm nachos. That doesn't sound good. But they haven't had food and like everything's exciting to them. So like when people are like kind of jumping around like in the mosh pit and then like you turn around and you hand them a pack of Gushers. Every time they're so excited. They're like, for me?
Yeah, for me.
And I'm like, yes, you. And they're like, wow, I haven't had these since I was like in middle school. And I'm like, yeah. And they like explode in your mouth.
It's
like,
just so fun. It's the perfect little snack, you know?
Yeah. Jesse, who I know you're listening to this episode, I brought Fruit by the Foot to a music festival. And she accidentally took acid and Molly.
Oh.
She like took acid, then later took Molly. And when she took the Molly, she goes, oh shit. And I was like, what? And she was like, I forgot I took acid earlier. And I was like, oh
Oops.
No. And
to the moon.
Yeah. And we had like really just met.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got you. So like I had to kind of like be her, companion. But like at one point the festival was too much. So we went and sat by like a lake. And then I handed her a fruit by the foot.
Did she cry?
No, she was like, she's like a beautiful experience.
I would get emotional.
She like, and like we accidentally were like backstage of the stage because the river was right behind it. So like somehow someone like, I don't think they noticed we walked around. Right. So it's like we could hear the music. We're on the lake. We're like in Austin and she's like eating her fruit by the foot. And like, she's never forgotten that moment.
The perfect time.
No, it was lovely.
I once was at a music festival and I was super, super hungry, but I was like dancing and someone literally like handed me a taco, like a plate of tacos. I knew you were going to
say something weird like that.
It was like, it was really kind of crazy. And I got emotional at the taco because I hadn't eaten for like 2 days. And like, I'm not going to like go eat, you know?
Yeah, you're doing stuff.
Yeah, I'm doing stuff. I'm busy. And they just like literally presented a taco to me like in the crowd. And it was like one of the greatest things. I literally cried.
But like, where were they holding the taco? Like in their pocket? I think
what it was is like
a pocket taco.
They had like gone and gotten it and then brought it to me. And they like surprised me with a taco.
Oh.
They like brought a taco to me. I think
that seems like too much. You can't really separate from the group. Are you going to make the whole group go to the taco stand? There's always a line.
Exactly.
And it's boring.
Sometimes it's like super expensive. Especially if you like brought food to eat, it's like, are you going to go buy food, you know? And I think I had like some peanut butter and jelly.
At the campground?
At the campground, yeah. And I was like, well, maybe if I am hungry, I'll just go eat peanut butter and jelly, which is amazing at a music festival. But like, yeah, these people just handed me like, you know, a taco. And I was like, they're just so kind. They like really thought about me. Tacos are expensive at music festivals if you're poor. And I think I was at the time. So
speaking of that man and giving you peanut butter, we went down to Denver after recording the last podcast. You guys, we talked to you 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Not a lot's happened, but I'm sure we'll stretch this story out. But we've been gone for 3 days. We drove down there. We went to go meet Denver man at his house.
Yeah.
We show up. I think we're just showing up to like, he was like, he was going to let my dog stay at his house. And they were going to get an Uber from his house.
Yeah, I literally thought we were going to walk in and walk out.
Yeah.
That's what I was expecting.
And I was going to eat before I left the house, but like we didn't have time because we're going to miss the show.
It was like a day show, an all day show.
And so I was like, whatever, I'll just like eat an expensive taco at the venue.
Yeah, exactly.
And which is risky for me because I can't always eat everywhere with all my allergies. Anyway, so we show up and this man has an entire tray, a spread of charcuterie and French rosé.
And a note on the French rosé. He was giving a shit for calling it French rosé because
last time we hung out with him.
Because he was all like, "Oh, why do you say French rosé if it's just rosé?" We're like, "Yeah, but like rosé from France is like a specific type of rosé."
Well, obviously. I was like, I would ask somebody if they like a French or a New Zealand Sauv Blanc,
right?
And he didn't understand and like thought that was even dumber.
Yeah, he was kind of like making fun of you or us, really.
Well, he was making fun of us, like thinking that we were super pretentious by saying that we like French rosé.
Yeah,
but it's also like saying you like a California Chardonnay.
Yeah,
or like or if you specifically like unoaked Chardonnay. But like he's just not like as into wine.
Yeah, or he was just kind of making fun of us. But the fact that he had specifically French rosé for us, exactly. But no, yeah, he did listen to us about French rosé. Yeah.
Well, it was just nice. He was like, well, I figured you guys would like want a snack before we go to like an all day show. And I know this is like what you drink. And I was like, oh.
God, love that.
Killing it.
Men.
Huge points.
Men.
Listen.
If you want to step up your game and you have a girl coming over, charcuterie.
Yeah.
Bitches love charcuterie.
They do.
Gay
literally.
Men,
and bitches just love food. Like just feed her and then pay attention to what she drinks and like have that available. It literally like warmed my heart. And I was like, is this the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me?
Right.
And then he gifts you peanut butter. That's another thing.
Me peanut butter.
Boys that I date tend to gift you things. It's weird. They're always trying to like win Nick over because everyone thinks you're my keeper.
Yeah. Actually, this is the thing though. A lot of women that I'm, not just you, like you're a different level with like the men that you date try to win me over, but just a lot of women in my life, like my friends, they start meeting a new guy and they'll like pay attention to me almost a little bit more just to like, oh, this is her best gay friend. I gotta like be his best friend, you know? And yeah, it's just like a funny motif that I do kind of love, you know? Like one of your ex-boyfriends like literally got me like snowboard bibs.
Yeah, they were like $300.
Yeah.
He's like, I was gonna return them because they were too small for me, but like they fit you perfectly, and you should just have them. And you were like,
I was like, abso-fucking-lutely. Thank you so much for thinking of me.
Didn't you lose those?
No, I think they were. Well, I did lose them, but it was my old roommate that didn't keep. That they just left his house.
You know what also got stolen from our old roommate's house?
Yeah,
my Fendi scarf.
Yeah. I lost my bibs. You lost your Fendi scarf.
Anyway, things disappeared out of that house.
Yeah, a lot of things disappeared out of that house.
My dignity, my soul,
my sleep schedule. It's where I lived during COVID. It's fine.
It is where we lived during COVID, aka the Shaggin' Wagon. That's a chapter.
That was a chapter, but that chapter is closed. It is finished.
We're in charcuterie and French rosé from Adult Denver Men chapter.
Exactly. Not 4-inch bright red shag carpet. Yeah, not that chapter anymore.
Okay. So speaking of this man, he got invited to like a beer festival that day, but instead he decided I had an extra ticket to this like all day kind of Burning Man festival type thing, which is like very us.
Very us.
But he's very like polished and older and has never been to anything like that.
I know. He was like, do I have to wear body paint?
And he was like, should I cut the sleeves off my shirt? And should I get body paint? And I was like, honestly, babe, you would fit right in.
No one would question it.
No, I was like, but like, you're fine. Like you just as you are. But yeah, so we took him. He had a great time.
I thought, I think he was like really nervous that it was going to be like some like rave and everyone was going to be like super drugged out. And it was really just a show in the park that was really, really fun. Blondish was playing at one of this Burning Man camp's art car that was a giant light up dragon that shot like fire out of it. It was so cool.
Put on by our friends who own Zodiac House. So unbelievable. Shout out to all them. The show was amazing. But I will say my friends, like, so we're there and he's like meeting all of our friends and then he like disappears for a sec. He literally came back with a bucket, almost like a bottle service bucket with like ice and like glasses and rosé. Like, where did you find him? And where did he find rosé? And I was like, I don't know. He's great.
Yeah, I love that. I remember seeing the bucket come because I was like a little bit further away. And I saw him with the bucket and I was like, oh my God, that is so cute. He just brought a bucket of rosé.
Yeah, big fan.
I'm over here drinking like Miller Lite. No, I think so. Something like that. But yeah, the show is so good. All of our friends met up together and it was just like kind of like the crew, like full on gang, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I dipped out.
You and him dipped out early.
Yeah.
A little early. And I thought that was a bit strange.
Because that's not really a me vibe.
So I didn't really know. And the show is ending only at like 11 p.m. because it started at 2 p.m. So I was kind of like, oh, I wonder like why she like left so early. But I didn't really like say that, you know. I didn't know if like maybe like you were feeling weird or like. So I'm at the show with my friends and we're finishing it and like we're having a good time. And then we ended up going out to a bar after. But then I saw on your Instagram story that like I saw like, you know, on your story like uploaded 35 minutes ago. It's just a dozen oysters and like a glass of wine. And I was like, oh my God, they tipped out to go have like fancy dinner.
Yeah.
And I was like, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because I feel like you would only leave a show early for like fancy dinner. Mm-hmm. You know?
Bribed me.
Yeah. Which honestly, smart. If
you know anything about me. Yeah. He was like, well, why don't we go get like a nice dinner? He was like, if you want to stay and play with your friends. And I was like, well, like, I don't know. Like I did. And he was like, but like, or we could go to a nice dinner. And I was like,
all right, fuck my friends. Let's go.
It's like, you win, steak dinner.
No, it was fun.
You guys went out. You got to bed so early.
We
woke up.
I think I went to bed at like 2. It wasn't too crazy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Then we just did Sunday Funday.
Okay, so me and my friend Sean, we woke up at like 9 a.m. and he literally woke up. He like kind of like he wasn't even awake. Okay, we were in his bed and he just kind of like rolls over to me and he was like, margarita, and I was like, okay, I'm down for a margarita. But yeah, it was like, and usually like brunch happens at like 10 to 11 to noon to 1. Mm-hmm. This was like 9 o'clock, you know?
No, this Mexico City Lounge in Denver opens at 9 a.m.
Yeah. Brunch. They sell pancakes.
But it's Mexican.
Uh-huh. It's like a Mexican diner, you know?
I will say it was the worst Mexican food I've ever had.
I'm so upset that you had a bad time.
I know you said you always like the food, and
I've eaten there 3 times and it's been fantastic. And the vibe is really good.
It's like a good like Sunday bar if you want to go to Mexican earlier than 10 or 11.
It's because they sell pancakes. They sell really good pancakes. But you said that it just was not good. You and Michael said that, but me and Sean were having a blast. So I had margarita and like 5 Coronas, and I wasn't expecting to do that. I really wasn't.
We thought we were driving back to. I thought I was picking Nick up downtown.
Yeah,
and driving right back up to the summit. I don't know why we weren't just we just weren't planning on staying. And next thing you know, Nick's holding the Stanley Cup. So that's how the story ends. This
with the Stanley Cup. Well, hold up. Let's backtrack a little bit. You know, like when you're out at like brunch and then brunch turns into something a little bit crazier than brunch. Mm-hmm. You know, that's kind of what happened. Been like there. I thought we were having like margaritas and like 1 or 2 margaritas and a Corona with some food, and then like Francesca was coming to pick us up and leave us. No. Oh, another shot.
Cheers.
Up. Zaza. Za's barking. Za just woke up from a hearty nap.
It's because the dog next door is going outside. It's her buddy.
Francesca, you just informed me that the dog next door is deaf and blind.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I don't know how he didn't know that.
I've been like petting it outside. It doesn't seem deaf and blind to me.
No, he like hard of hearing.
Well, maybe I don't really pay attention to dogs, so like I probably just didn't notice.
Yeah, no, I sneak up on him sometimes.
Oh, really?
He like freaks out.
Y'all, we took brunch. And the thing about with Francesca is like you will have 1 drink at brunch and be like, oh, I'm not drinking. Or maybe I'll have 1 drink. And then it turns into, you guys want to go to the next bar? And then we're like, oh, we're going to the next bar. Like I didn't realize that was happening.
But then I just create a string of next bars.
Yeah. And then you went to the next bar and then the next bar. So yeah, we literally, I went to like 5 bars. It wasn't 5 bars. It was 3 bars I'd never been to.
Mexico City Lounge, went to Improper City. We
Improper
went to
City, that's what it's called.
That 10 Barrel.
Oh, 10 Barrel. Forgot about that one. 10 Barrel Brewing. So good. Out of Bend, Oregon and Denver. Oh, love that.
Then we went to Bierstadt Lounge. And then
Barcelona.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really did turn into, and Sean was even texting me. He was like, I can't believe we did that all day. And I was like, I can tell like Sean doesn't like do that often, like Sunday Funday that hard. But Francesca and I are just kind of like a little too good at that. Like if
honestly, you and I, I'm sorry.
No, like if we're in that vibe and we're in that mood and it's happening, it's like the only thing that could stop us is like a tranquilizer dart to the neck. I mean, we could have $- and we'll still fucking do it. You know what I mean?
Nick, you thought we followed a girl on Instagram. So you went up and talked to her and made friends. And then she invited us to the next bar. And then we met all of her friends.
Yeah.
And then we went to another place with them.
Yeah, no, it literally was like, it was 110% of like Sunday Funday.
Well, it was because like our men were talking sports.
Oh my God. Yeah, they were.
And I mentioned the Formula One games. That's not what they're. And then
they were football.
And I was like, I said something about the Formula One games, and they were like, what did you just say? They were like, they are not games. It is a race. And I was like, I knew that. But then they just kept making fun of me. So you and I were like, we're done.
We're done.
We're done with sportsy talk.
But yeah, sportsy talk.
but anyway, yeah. So the non-sportsers. The one who knows the least about sports, he ended up holding the Stanley Cup, and all of them are like, what the fuck, Nick? And you're like, why? I just like wanted to go. I went to the private party, and then the Stanley Cup happened to be in attendance.
Y'all, I don't even know how this happened. We were at Barcelona, and you just out of the corner of your eye were just like, oh, another shot. Okay.
They really are light.
Okay. So we were at Barcelona, and you're like, Francesca, you said it so weird. You go, oh, is that the Stanley Cup over there? But it was like you were so unimpressed or didn't even think like, oh. And I go, did she just say the Stanley fucking Cup? And I look over, and it's the goddamn Stanley Cup. And it's just chilling on the patio.
Yeah.
It's just outside, just like hanging out. Like someone had just left it there. Like it was someone's like purse. you know? And so I was like, okay. So I walk outside. You know, there was just like a door onto the back patio, and there's like people standing up. It was kind of like a cocktail hour, it seemed like that. And I'm just kind of looking at the cup. I had never been that close to it. I had been in the same room with it before, like in St. Louis and stuff, like Stanley Cups in the building and stuff. But I'm not gonna like wait in line to get like my photo taken with it. And it's just like literally someone put it on like a picnic bench, and I was like, what the fuck? And so this girl comes up to me. She was like, do you want your photo taken with it? I was like, oh yeah, absolutely. And she just started doing like like when some people like you ask them for a photo and they just take one photo and it's fucking blurry. It's like cut off half your head with it. And they're just like, oh, there you go. This girl, not like that.
It's like me. I'm a good person to ask.
You're if someone asks you to take a photo, it's like you just won the jackpot of like random people to take your photo from the sidewalk, you know? But anyway, she wanted me to do like, oh no, get closer to it. Act like you're kissing it. Now put your hands up. Give me peace signs. Yeah. It was a whole thing. And so I was like, oh my God. And I was like, well, do you want your photo taken with it? And so, yeah, I did the same for her. I'm pretty good for taking photos for strangers, you know?
I've taught you well.
Yeah. Because everyone loves a good photo. Everyone loves a good photo. And so, yeah, like it was fun. And then I walk back to you guys at the bar and I just start showing you the photos that I took. And I was like, yeah, that's the actual fucking Stanley Cup like on the picnic bench over there. Mm-hmm. I think there was like maybe like an Avs player there or something like that. Or maybe like one of the coaches or something.
Everyone on the team gets a day with it and they get to like take it places. Yeah. So someone decided to rent out Barcelona's patio and then have like their friends and family there.
Like a buyout. Yeah, totally. But it didn't seem like this like private event, you know, it literally was just the back patio.
Then Denver man who's actually into sports.
Very into sports.
Was like, wait, we're going back out there. He's like, I need this photo. Mm-hmm.
So me and him walk out there and like, he's looking at the cup and I'm like, here, let me get your photo. And this girl walks up and she goes, you two can fucking leave. And I was like, what? She goes, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. And I was like, yeah, getting a photo with the cup. Like, she was like, leave now. This is a private event and I know what you're doing. You can leave. You can leave right now. Right now.
So glad I wasn't here.
You know, this. And I was, and like, it was funny because like, you know, I'd been drinking all day and she didn't even get the sass from me. We just very politely and respectfully, quietly, just kind of, okay. We walked away. Mm-hmm. And she was like, you know, with her arm crossed, like watching us leave. And I was like, girl.
You're like, I was just hanging out here.
I know.
But that's like your gay energy was so non-threatening.
But the moment a straight man.
You had the invisibility cloak on.
That someone from the party was like, oh, let me get your photo taken with it, you know? And I thought that was really funny too, that like, she was like, you can leave. And I was like, you don't realize that I just fucking made out with a cup 5 minutes ago. Okay. You weren't even here for it, but I didn't actually make out with the cup. I was not putting my lips on that. That's been touched by. Do you think
people would,
I'm sure they sanitize it. Actually,
no one's sanitizing
they eat
shit.
Food out of it. They probably wash it like through a.
It's like a nice little white glove bath.
Yeah, there's a handler. Did you know that?
Yeah.
There's someone.
Where was he?
He probably doesn't give a shit about the cup, really. Like, as long as no one's like stealing it or like picking it up.
But Nick, that's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. You know,
what if someone stole it?
Yeah, I think it was.
What if you stole the cup?
I would never do that. That is such a. But I'm sure there's probably some drunk asshole that's out there that has tried to steal the cup. Mm-hmm. You know, how funny it would be if we stole the cup. You know, that's not really like my vibe. I'm not really like into like ruining other people's fun.
No, we're not like, into stealing.
Yeah. But
I'm saying, what if it was
what?
In an alternate universe, if we had the cup and we were like,
you guys just see me run.
No, what if like we didn't know how to return it?
Oh, because we would get arrested.
Yeah.
Then sued probably by the NHL, you know? Could you imagine if just next podcast, like our only decoration is the cup and a few gourds?
We just fill it with little baby pumpkins.
Little baby pumpkins.
We're like, listen, guys, we don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. Do you know the story about it?
No.
Someone found it at it was a weird silver cup that they found in like a thrift shop. Mm-hmm. And it was someone like big in the NHL and they just made it like the cup. And then it was sort of a joke at first. And then it just started they start adding more rings to it. And that's why the cup is like, that's why it's kind of funny because it's like, it is cool and it is antique and there's only one of them, but it is like kind of just like a random silver cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure the Wikipedia page on the Stanley Cup is like fascinating, and I really wish I would have read that before this episode so I could give you guys like a detailed history. But yeah, anyway, so I like posted that photo shoot of me with the cup. Mm-hmm. I had so many people comment or just like say to me, like when I went to work the next day, they're like, Nick, why were you with the cup? Or like, how'd you get so close to the cup? Like, where? I'm just like, oh, sorry. So I was day drinking in Denver and I found the cup, you know.
Pretty typical.
It is.
Non-sportsers. Like going to the.
I let the cup come to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Something always happens. Well, then so we get in the car from that bar and the guy who picked us up, it was one of our friends.
Yeah, Slade. Shout out Slade. Denver's a big city.
Yeah. And he goes, yeah, I saw like Francesca pop up on my Uber. And I was like, I bet I know this bitch. There's not a lot of Francescas. And so we go to get in the car and someone else, you were like telling some random person, you're like, yo, the Stanley Cup's inside. And so I just opened the Uber.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even look at the driver. And he goes, yo, is Nico coming? And I'm like, what? Why does this Uber driver know my brother's name? I like freaked out. Like I was like, I should not get in this car. And he was like, oh, what's up, Francesca? I thought that was you. And I was like, oh, what? It was like a funny little.
It was funny because I feel like that whole Sunday Funday was just full of like weird, funny coincidences of like seeing our friends, seeing the Stanley Cup, like, you know, just meeting random like super cool people at the bars, and then like us knowing the Uber driver, you know. And that's a good Sunday fun. And then we had no casualties, really.
No.
It's not like I lost a phone. It's not like I got arrested by the NHL.
Do you imagine if you like got arrested for going in that party?
Well, like imagine if I like walked into the party and like some security guard just like punched me in the fucking face, you know, or like escorted me out, you know. I'd be like, oh God, Francesca,
like
help.
A funny picture too. You just have a black eye, like Nick tried to steal the Stanley Cup.
I just wanted a photo and they thought I was trying to steal it. I don't know, but
all right. So
okay,
this is going to be a quick little podcast. We're just kind of updating. Let's take our one last little apple cider shot.
Woo.
And Nick, what are you going to be for Halloween?
Halloween. Guys, I don't give a fuck what I'm going to be for Halloween.
Yeah.
I like, I just don't really care. I just don't really like Halloween. And I do get kind of stressed out. Like I love costumes, but like I don't really feel, I've never been the type of person that like I needed the most amazing Halloween costume. And I know you gay men out there feel differently about this. Really, everyone feels differently about this.
But people love Halloween.
Halloween is one of the greatest holidays, and it is being so, it's exploding all over the world. In Europe, it's becoming a big party holiday. Trick-or-treating and stuff is getting big in Asia. It's becoming like a world holiday.
Weren't you in China one Halloween?
Yeah, I was actually.
And no one celebrates it there or knows what it is, right?
Yeah, no, I was in China. And it was more of just a bar crawl, but everyone was in costume.
Oh, okay.
So and my costume was kind of like makeshift. So I wore like a green and white checkered flannel that I had with like a whole bunch of different ivies coming off of it. And then I had like a sunflower crown that I put like, so there was like one sunflower just kind of like on the top and I was like a plant.
Okay.
But, you know, people kind of had like, you know, skeleton t-shirts. A couple Australians were like dressed up as pirates. It was like or some people kind of like wore all black and did their face with all white makeup and did some like red blood coming down their like chin to look like a vampire. Like it was very like basic Halloween. But I mean, that was in China in a very non-Western city.
Do you have a favorite like childhood Halloween costume that you remember?
I just really liked being a ninja when I was younger, or I really liked
a ninja. I was a ninja once in college. Do you remember that? All the girls were like really cute.
And you were just
it's like
ninja.
Sexy Halloween. I was like Catty hearing from Mean Girls. I went like full on stealth ninja and I had like swords and like, I was so into it.
No, that's a great Halloween costume. But like, do you like Halloween?
I feel like I have like really fond memories of it. Although one time when I was like in second grade, I was Jasmine.
Okay.
And this was my favorite year, or like it was like my most exciting costume. Like someone's mom had made it. My mom didn't make this one because mom made most of her Halloween costumes.
Because she's creative like that.
Yeah. We might have told this last year on the pod because this, I don't know. But
I don't think we did.
Someone like had gifted us this like beautiful, like they spent so much time, and it had like the billowy, like, you know, like, what would you call that? Like turquoise, like light blue pants. And it was this like little bikini. And then I had the head thing with like a jewel in the middle. And I was so excited because it was like so cute. Mm-hmm. But it snowed that Halloween.
Oh no.
And mom didn't want me to get sick. So she made me wear a white turtleneck underneath. So like my little bikini was then on top of a turtleneck, and I just cried because I felt like it was ruining my Jasmine aesthetic.
Yeah.
And I was so upset at 8 years old.
I think I remember this. Did it have like the light blue cuffs on the shoulders? Yeah, I think I do remember that.
You were Piglet one year.
Yeah, I was Piglet when I was really young. I don't remember it, but it was the cutest thing. I've seen photos.
No, you were really cute Piglet. You were also a pumpkin.
A pumpkin, I remember that.
When you were a baby, you were a little jester.
A little jester.
Like
I actually have seen these photos. You know, my best friend, Marissa, she had a baby in college, and she dressed her baby for her first Halloween as Mother Teresa. And it was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. And it was just like... But you know what's really cool about Halloween that a lot of other holidays don't have is there's this evolution to it. So like when you're a kid, you like go trick-or-treating and you can be, or, you know, as an infant, you get dressed up as something. But then when you're a teenager, you go out and it's kind of like this mischievous night out on riding your bikes around, you know, the neighborhood, you know, kind of Donnie Darko vibe. But then when you're in college, it kind of becomes like this party. Oh, like, what are we going to dress up at? It gets slutty. Yeah. And then when you're an adult, like you kind of walk around with like a wagon and you watch your kids go Halloween, or you have kids come to your house and trick or treat for you, you know, or like come to your doorstep to trick or treat. I just think that like Halloween has that evolution throughout your life that it's like, how is it not one of the greatest holidays?
That's true.
That being said, I don't really care. I don't really know why I don't care. It's just like not really my thing. I'm not hating on it. I actually really love it, but it's just not my thing.
I wonder what our brother lives outside of New Orleans now.
Which in New Orleans is kind of one of
I've heard New Orleans for Halloween is dope.
Oh, no. It's like so cool. I've heard that everyone thinks of like New Orleans as like Mardi Gras. And that's very true. But it's actually kind of like the Halloween capital of the.
Let's maybe think about visiting our brother in New Orleans just for a weekend. But that's
a really good idea.
Potentially have to film that next week.
Yeah. So that's
you
the
might
one
not be
thing
doing
that,
anything.
Yeah. We're traveling a lot this November.
We have decided we're just going to be more nomadic for a few months. So we're getting rid of our lease and moving
here in Frisco. So I think we are moving out at the new year.
At the latest.
And pretty much starting November, we're going to be a little bit more nomadic. We don't have all the details figured out, but that's pretty exciting to us. But yeah, one thing about New Orleans, Voodoo Festival.
Yeah.
It's like one of the craziest festivals in like the United States.
Is it that weekend?
It's Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, potentially. Here's or here's. We just discussed our future plans.
I know.
All right, fam. Thanks for hanging out with our little catch-up episode. We'll have more next week.
Because this one was like, I feel we recorded 4 days ago. So it was like, I don't know. But we're back on track. Episodes every Thursday, hopefully.
So if you guys like listening and you want to hang out with us and want to support, please just tell your friends, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on TikTok, comment or share a video on Instagram. It would mean so much. And then don't forget our sponsor this week. It's shotcallerusa.com. And the code is all caps SAUCY20 for 20% off. All right. Cheers, guys.
Bye. See you next week.
Chef's kiss.
Mwah.